Beneath the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, deep within the Saint-Fibi Mine, men toiled in darkness. In 1907, a mysterious force would shatter their world. Strange lights flickered in the tunnels, whispers echoed where no one should be, and then a massive explosion that claimed dozens of lives. What really happened that day? The answers may never be found. Welcome to Lost History's Chronicles. The Saint-Fibi Mine was nestled in the hills of Pennsylvania, a coal mine where men worked tirelessly, day and night, to feed their families and fuel the growing industrial nation. Life underground was harsh: narrow tunnels, suffocating coal dust, and the ever-present risk of collapse. Yet the miners accepted the dangers as part of their reality, a daily struggle for survival. By 1907, the mine had become one of the most productive in the region, but whispers of strange occurrences began to circulate among the workers. Some spoke of faint, flickering lights deep in the tunnels where no lamps had reached. Others reported hearing unexplained sounds, soft murmurs and echoes that seemed almost human, yet no one was there. Despite these ominous signs, work continued. The mine operators dismissed the stories as superstition, the talk of overworked men. But tension grew with each passing day, the air thick with anticipation and unease. Little did anyone know, these strange premonitions would soon culminate in a catastrophic explosion, changing the lives of countless miners and leaving a haunting mystery that persists even today. The morning of April 8, 1907, began like any other in the Saint-Fibi Mine. Miners descended into the dark tunnels, their lanterns casting flickering shadows on the walls lined with coal dust. The air was thick and heavy, filled with the familiar scent of earth and labor. Yet that day, something felt different. An uneasy tension seemed to hang over the mine, an almost imperceptible sense that the tunnels themselves held their breath. Workers recalled hearing strange sounds earlier in the week, distant hums and faint whispers, echoing from the deepest corners of the mine. Small flickering lights had appeared where no lamp had been placed. Most brushed it off as tricks of the light or the mind playing on exhaustion, but some miners exchanged nervous glances, sensing an omen they could not name. By mid-morning, activity in the mine was at its peak. Coal carts rumbled along tracks, pickaxes struck the walls, and the constant rhythm of labor filled the tunnels. Then, without warning, a deep, resonant boom shattered the ordinary cadence of the day. Dust and debris erupted from the walls, and a violent shockwave coursed through the tunnels. Men were thrown to the ground, lamps shattered, and a choking cloud of smoke and coal dust engulfed the miners. Survivors described a terrifying scene of chaos and confusion. In the thick darkness, they could hear the cries of their comrades, some calling out names, others screaming in pain. The air was nearly unbreathable, thick with dust and the acrid smell of fire. Rescue efforts began immediately, but the unstable tunnels made every step dangerous. Miners who tried to help were forced to navigate collapsing shafts, pockets of fire, and clouds of smoke that seemed almost alive in their intensity. Strangely, many reported seeing flickering lights dancing amidst the smoke, glowing in the darkness, as if guiding or perhaps taunting the survivors. Some claimed to hear whispers among the rumble of destruction, voices calling from tunnels that had long been abandoned, urging them deeper into danger or warning them to turn back. These accounts were largely dismissed by officials, who focused solely on the physical causes of the explosion. But among the miners, the stories spread quickly, fueling a sense of dread that the disaster was more than a mere accident. By evening, the full scale of the catastrophe became clear. Dozens of men had perished, trapped beneath tons of coal and rock, while others emerged physically unscathed but forever haunted by what they had witnessed. Families gathered outside the mine, desperate for news, their faces reflecting fear, grief, and confusion. The local authorities blamed a buildup of methane gas. Yet no one could fully explain the eerie premonitions, the flickering lights, or the whispers that haunted those who had survived. That day marked one of the most tragic and mysterious events in Pennsylvania's mining history. The Saint-Fibi Mine explosion left scars that went beyond the physical destruction, a lingering question that still echoes today, whispering through the dark corridors of history. What really happened beneath the earth on that fateful morning? In the aftermath of the Saint-Fibi Mine explosion, survivors told tales that confounded investigators and historians alike. Many spoke of hearing whispers in the dark, voices echoing through tunnels where no one remained. Some claimed the sounds were warnings. Others felt they were cries of the lost, trapped forever beneath the coal and stone. No physical explanation could account for these eerie auditory phenomena. Even stranger were the lights. Before the explosion, miners had reported small, flickering glows deep in tunnels where no lamps had reached. After the disaster, several survivors recounted seeing the same lights dancing in the smoke and dust as they tried to escape. Some described them as pale, ghostly orbs, others as flickers of orange fire, almost like miniature lanterns moving with intent. These visions vanished when authorities arrived, leaving only the miners' accounts to hint at what had transpired. The official investigation focused on methane gas and coal dust, and while these doctors explained the physical blast, they offered no answers for the experiences that haunted those who had been there. Miners described a sensation of being watched, of shadows moving just beyond the edge of vision, and a profound sense that something otherworldly had taken place. Local folklore quickly intertwined with these accounts. Tales of a cursed tunnel began circulating among the mining communities. Parents warned children never to venture near certain shafts, and experienced miners spoke of a subtle but undeniable unease that hung over the mine long after it reopened. Even decades later, visitors reported feeling an inexplicable chill when standing near the entrance, as if the earth itself remembered the tragedy. These mysterious phenomena, recorded only in personal testimonies and oral history, remain unsolved to this day. Were they the echoes of trauma, the mind's reaction to fear and loss, or something beyond human understanding? The Saint-Fibi Mine explosion left more than a trail of destruction. It left questions that have persisted for over a century, shadows of the unknown lurking deep beneath the earth. By the end of that harrowing day in 1907, the Saint-Fibi Mine had become a scene of both tragedy and mystery. Dozens of miners had lost their lives, buried beneath tons of coal and rock, while others emerged physically unscathed, yet forever changed by what they had witnessed. Families gathered outside the mine, faces etched with grief and fear, desperately waiting for news of loved ones. The disaster left an indelible mark on the community, but it also left a series of unanswered questions that would haunt historians and local residents for generations. The official investigation attributed the explosion to a buildup of methane gas combined with coal dust, a common hazard in mines of the era. Safety protocols were deemed inadequate, and new regulations were slowly implemented to prevent similar disasters. Yet these explanations failed to satisfy those who had been underground that day. Survivors continued to recount strange lights, ghostly whispers, and an uncanny feeling of being watched even after leaving the mine. These accounts were largely dismissed by authorities, but among miners, the stories persisted, passed down as oral history, and whispered warnings about the mine's dark corridors. Over time, the Saint-Fibi Mine became a symbol of both industrial danger and the inexplicable mysteries that sometimes accompany human labor in extreme conditions. Local folklore spoke of a cursed tunnel, a place where no miner should tread lightly. Tales of shadows, moving independently of any human presence, of lights flickering without source, and of voices echoing long after the tunnels were cleared, became part of the legend. Even decades later, visitors reported an inexplicable chill near the mine entrance, a lingering sensation that something beyond comprehension remained below the surface. Historians and paranormal researchers alike have tried to uncover the truth, but gaps in documentation and the unreliability of eyewitness accounts leave room for speculation. Was it merely the trauma of the explosion and the human mind grappling with extreme fear that produced these tales? Or did something truly mysterious occur in the depths of the mine? The passage of time has only deepened the enigma. As records fade, witnesses pass away, and the mine itself is slowly reclaimed by nature. The Saint-Fibi Mine explosion serves as a haunting reminder that history is not only shaped by what is recorded, but also by what is experienced and remembered. It is a story of human courage and tragedy, of lives lost to forces both natural and perhaps supernatural, and of mysteries that refuse to fade. Even today, over a century later, questions remain. What really happened in those dark tunnels? Were the lights and whispers real, or manifestations of fear and grief?
And perhaps most hauntingly, are some secrets of the Earth meant to remain buried forever?
The story of the Saint-Fibi Mine explosion is more than a tale of industrial disaster. It is a window into the unknown, a glimpse of the mysteries that linger beneath the surface of history. Dozens of miners lost their lives that day, yet the true enigma lies not only in the physical tragedy, but in the strange lights, whispers, and shadows reported by survivors, phenomena that continue to baffle and intrigue. We may never know exactly what happened in those dark tunnels, and perhaps some secrets are meant to remain hidden forever. Yet, by remembering and exploring these events, we honor the lives of those who faced unimaginable danger, and we keep their stories alive. If you are captivated by history's hidden corners, by the untold stories of human courage, and by mysteries that defy explanation, then subscribe to Lost History's Chronicles. Join us as we journey into the shadows of the past, uncovering secrets that time has tried to bury. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you believe the unexplained phenomena in the Saint-Fibi mine were real, or just echoes of fear and grief? Your perspective could shed light on the darkest corners of history.